Morning, and thank you for joining Resilient You. On our show each week, we talk about topics of resilience, and today I'm super happy to have a special guest with me, Jacob Hacker. Jacob is a Netflix personality. You may have seen him on The Mole. He's also an actor, and most importantly, though, I think he's well, depends on what you're listening for. But listeners, he is a firefighter as well. So we're looking forward to that. He's got a wonderful new calendar where we can see him in his glory as a firefighter. Anyway, Jacob, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I just really enjoy being able to connect with people and get the opportunity to come talk on a show like this.
Yeah, and we'd love to have you. Now, our show is broadcast on Power 98.5 FM satellite radio. It's broadcast out of New York and Manchester, United Kingdom, in over 30 countries. So we'll have a lot of people who are going to find you and learn all about what you have to offer. Now, I don't know where to start. I mean, there's so many great things. Why don't we ask you, tell listeners a little bit about Jacob. You wear many hats, you have many roles. Why don't you tell everyone about Jacob Hacker?
Yes, if someone doesn't know me, they will probably get familiar with the term the Jake of all trades. That's what I like to say about myself. Like you said, I wear many hats. And where would we begin this story? It was a cold, rainy day in 1993. I'm just kidding. We're not going to go back that far. Uh, I am from the middle of nowhere in Ohio. I mean, surrounding me is cornfields. And if you get the opportunity to watch this interview, you can see I'm in my woods right behind me. I grew up in a very, very small town, and here it's rural area, farming community, tradesmen, and I had just your average life, as a young kid. I think where my story began to have an impact with my life would be I struggled with my weight when I was a younger kid, and it played a huge role in building my foundation. So I struggled with that most of my life, but I did have a great support system, loving parents, great family, good friends. And as I got older, I realized that I wanted to have a certain kind of life and I wanted to make my choices, achieve my goals, and be the best version of myself. It takes any kid, hell, it takes even any adult a long time to realize you are capable of anything and you just have to put in the work. So, probably over the course of the past 10 years, I have dedicated my life to my fitness, my careers, my goals, my ambitions, and there's about 10 different ways we could take this discussion. So, what do you think? Where should I go from here? What would you like to discuss?
Yeah, so let me just stop you there. So you had said a lot of wonderful things in there, and again, around the topic of resilience, um, you talked about your own personal struggle, and you came to a decision that you wanted to be your best self.
Absolutely.
So a lot of people, when they're faced with that, they get overwhelmed or they get stressed out or they doubt, they have that self-doubt, they overthink. And so you had said that you had a good support system, family and friends, and you focused on your fitness, your career, and you had that mindset that you were capable of anything.
Mhm.
So this to me is just you're like the you know you would be the model person for my show. Um Now you're an actor. Obviously you're athletic. You have, a wonderful physique, by the way.
Thank you.
So
Thank you. I
I
worked really hard on it.
yeah, yeah, well it shows. So what do you think is the number one uh challenge? I mean, because you really made it sound easy.
Ooh.
And I know it wasn't easy. So tell us about your challenges, either, in your weight loss journey, because to go from, being overweight, um, to today, what you are, I mean, folks, take a look at him. Go online and search him. But anyway, both for men and women, guys, look at this. You can really get inspiration. Tell us about that first challenge, if you don't mind.
Still to this day, I can talk about this till I'm blue in the face. People can look at me and say, wow, he did it. But I still probably see myself the same way as someone who's making their first step in their journey because I still get stressed out. I could hang up the phone with you today and be depressed, be overwhelmed, like you said. I love the way you put it. You said, making those steps is overwhelming. And that is the hardest thing for any of us. Probably you, probably me, still to this day. I struggle every day with my success and my fitness journey. Where am I going to go next? How do I get to my goal? I think the biggest thing I stress to people when they come to me right now and say, how do I do it? How do I figure this out like you did? And I say, well, I'm going to stop you right there because I'm still figuring it out. But I think the
Mm,
first thing is to not look distant into the future and say, that's my end goal. That's where I need to get. How do I get there? That is good to have that in your mind. But what you need to focus on right now is the step you can take at this very moment.
yeah,
How,
I love it.
yes, how do I make this move today? And, just like, I hate to say this, just like many people, what really, really pushed me was heartache, was pain, was suffering, was pretty much the wrong reasons to get into fitness, get into your physicality. But you know what? I'll tell anybody, if you're depressed and you're angry, you're sad, you're upset, I say use your outlet as the gym, as fitness, instead of resorting to drugs and alcohol. It's the best outlet you can have if you need it. For me,
Mm,
I grew up just like most kids do. Oh, I shouldn't say most, just like a lot of kids do. I came from a broken home. My parents were divorced when I was younger. It makes a lot of challenges for any child, but we still did what we had to do. We loved each other. I still had great parents. And growing up that way, it kind of played a mental role with me with my eating habits. I think a lot of times I ate my feelings. I made a lot of bad choices. I hung out with some wrong crowds, but I did have good friends. And so once I got older, I realized what I was doing to myself and the struggles I was causing, and realized I wasn't helping myself. If nobody's going to help me but me. So I need to make these steps. And I did the exact same thing, like I just explained. I was always wanting the instant gratification, the instant success. And it was really hard for me to realize how in the hell do I get that? So I focused on those small steps I could make right away. Okay, let's introduce cardio. Let's introduce proper nutrition. Let's stop drinking the soda. Let's stop eating all the nutty bars and the chocolate chip cookies because I wake up in the morning, I think about chocolate. I go to bed, I think about chocolate. Still to this day, it is horrible. But it's
Well,
just the
today
small.
there's so many more versions of it. You can get the cocoa, you can get there's different things, and nutritional things which are chocolate flavor. Like, so
Hmm.
we're a lot better off today than we were, I think, when we were younger. But wow, but that's amazing, Jacob. So you said you ate your feelings, right? And I love that because I can relate to that. I There was a point in my life where I was so, like, stuck, only I didn't realize it, and the next thing you know, I was making poor food choices, eating late at night, just junk food and ice
Hmm.
cream, and, like, I don't know, females, I think we crave chocolate and stuff a lot of times anyway, but
Yeah, you guys have
when
it worse with your hormone regulations. It's tricky,
yeah,
especially for
yeah.
a woman.
So thank you for, being transparent and sharing that, as a man, that you recognize you were causing your own struggles, and the only way that it was going to change was to to make the changes, to take those small steps that would get you closer to your goal and out of that low spot in your life. So yeah, thanks so much. That's amazing to hear that.
Yeah, absolutely. We all do it. We feel sorry for ourselves. We hate ourselves. Everybody does it. I still do it. I'm sure you do it on occasion as well. And I have to constantly remind.
No, I don't.
No, you do not. We do not. We are better than that. And-
Well, I developed this thing, and I come from a broken home as well.
Mhm.
I think I build myself up because I didn't have it when I was younger. And so I I just always have been able to have that hope and that resilience to focus on the good things. So even if someone else was better than me, I knew that there was always going to be someone better, and it's okay because I would find my own
yes,
path.
there's always.
Unfortunately, I can't. I never had that shame, right? Did you ever have the feeling of being ashamed of yourself?
All the time.
And that's a huge topic because it's just so big. It's such a big thing. And I don't know how old you were when you started on your fitness journey, but young kids, especially kids, can be cruel. And so,
Mm,
come my husband was overweight growing up, and when he went to college, he dropped 80 pounds. He started making changes, and
yes.
the people that didn't see him and then saw him, they were like, "What happened to you?" And he felt better. And then he was doing this thing, and he would not live to eat, but eat to live.
I
That
say
was
that
his
all
new
the time.
philosophy. So, yeah, yeah. Now, do you have the chocolate? Do you give in, or do you just totally stay straight on that?
It depends on what I'm trying to do. So I don't think it is good for someone to go 100% in, no chocolate, nothing like that. You have to give yourself a little bit of grace. You need to be able to indulge a little bit. I'm a sucker. I'm lactose intolerant, but I love ice cream, once in a while. And,
Mm.
you got to have your mom's homemade chocolate chip cookies. Who doesn't? But in the sense of, let's say, when I was in prep for the Australian firefighters calendar, um, I had to go absolutely no sugar, absolutely no chocolate, absolutely no
Mm.
alcohol, because I am someone
Mm.
who, if I don't give it up completely, I will have those intense cravings. So it's either all in or all out.
And that's pretty common, I find. A lot of people that clients I've helped and different people I've worked with, they have that same methodology, right? Where I can have a two bites of something and be okay. Other
Hmm.
people, can. And so that's a really good point. You tell us now, you were one of two Americans that were accepted in that firefighter calendar. Tell us about that.
You know, I can't believe I got to this point. I still am in awe of it. I look at some of these pictures and think, that's how I looked? Wow, look, the best I've ever looked. But
There's one with the fire coming behind you with the water. Like,
yes,
what is that? It's amazing.
it was amazing. Since I decided to get into modeling and acting, everything's been a domino effect ever since. One thing has just constantly led to another. It's been amazing. And to go from the trades, blue collar firefighter, paramedic, trade work into the arts is not only scary and somewhat worrisome because people make fun of you, people don't understand, people don't see the world in a way of different trades you can have, different skills, different passions. So to make that's a whole different discussion. But how I got onto the Australian firefighters calendar, I think I left an impression. I mean, I contacted them and said, "Hey, I know that you guys are Australian based, but nobody in the United States does the calendar anymore. Internationally, I should say, or at least for the United States. I know New York used to do it, the New York City firefighters, but they quit doing it, I think, 3 or 4 years ago. And so the Australian one is the only one that's known worldwide. And I heard back from them, the owner of it, his name's David. He said, "Hey, mate, give me your phone number. I'm going to call you." He must have
Mm.
did some research, looked me up, seen some of the things that I've done, the reality show, the my physique, and he said, "I'd like to have you." He's like, "We want a couple Americans this year." He's like,
Oh,
we're gonna try to
really?
we're gonna try to do two this year. So he brought two Americans. I was there with one other American, one Canadian, and three other Australians for was our group of guys, and it was the experience of a lifetime. I've never been outside of the country until I went to Australia for the reality TV show, and then like a year and a half later, I go back for the calendar. It's still unbelievable to me.
Wonderful. So that's your calling, and that's probably, a good thing. So the mole, so tell us about that. The mole you were on the first, was it the first season?
Yes, yeah. So again, another thing that just kind of happened. I have been doing the modeling, I've been doing the acting, and I was in the running for a TV show out in LA. Well, that was in 2020, and COVID killed that project completely. So the good news is everybody in casting knows one another, and someone from The Mole contacted someone in casting from that show and said, we need someone like this. Do you know anyone? And they said, you need to contact Jacob Hacker. He'd be perfect. So here I was, like I'm doing right now, sitting in my woods one day, and I get a phone call. Would you be interested in applying for a reality TV show in Australia? Uh, uh, yeah, yes, yes, absolutely. Let's talk. And
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I applied, and out of, I think they said 4,500, somewhere between 4,500 and 5,000 people, they picked us 12. And so from there, it
Wow.
just opened up doors.
Wonderful. So how is that? Because a lot of actors that I talk to that come out of those reality TV shows, they, they have mixed feelings about it, or they can't really talk about how they really feel.
Hmm.
Um, I personally, I haven't seen that. I didn't see the show. I'm going to go and watch it though. But
You
but
should. It's
but
really
is
good.
there? Would you do another reality TV show? Let me ask you that.
I'm at that phase in my career where beggars can't be choosers, so I'll take whatever I can get. If it's a reality TV show, yes. I don't think I would do a dating show because they
Mm,
are very, very filled with drama. Um,
right.
I understand now why child actors have so much trouble when they grow up or it being living in the limelight because if you are not mentally stable and have a very sound foundation in your mentality, the reality realm will destroy you. It is extremely demanding, extremely stressful. It is filled with so much drama, and a lot of my castmates were quite diva-like, and so it's just kind of hard place to put yourself. But I went in there. I am trained for high stress situations. I do best under
Mhm.
pressure. My job is very, very intense and asks a lot of me. So I went in there with that. But the reality realm is completely different than the stress of firefighting and paramedicine.
Mm.
Some days you wake up and go, all right, I got to keep myself relevant in this TV show. Who am I going to fight with today? You, let's do it. So I, I would do it again. Yeah, it was very, very, it was fun, stressful, demanding,
Mm.
but I made a lot of good connections, made a lot of good friends. I had a very well presence around the world with people. People really enjoyed me. So I would do it again for them.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm so happy that you had that experience, that you're international. Um, and I love that how you were able to take that transferable skill of being resilient in your job where you get to help people as a firefighter, medic. Now, is that what do you do in that? You go into fires, and as people come out, you assess them for their wellness.
Hmm.
What's that about?
So it's all of the above. We are a dual combination department. So whatever someone calls 911 for, that determines what truck we take out. Someone could call 911 and say, my house is on fire. So we go.
Mm,
And it depends. If there's someone in, we're going in after them. House is on fire, we're putting the water on it. Or if someone calls and said, help, I'm having a heart attack. Okay, we're taking the ambulance, we're going to their home, and we're going to help them. Car accidents, I mean, hazardous situations.
mm.
We're dive certified. We have dive teams, we have hazmat teams, we've got all of the above. Whatever someone has an emergency for, we handle. And it just depends on what it is, what we're doing.
Mm. Okay. So you mentioned that you, and that's a great thing. So thank you so much for your service, first of all.
Absolutely.
Um,
Thank you for paying your
when,
taxes.
yeah, yeah. Now you perform well under pressure, and how long had you been in that role before you started in the acting realm?
Oh, goodness. I was practicing the fire and paramedicine for approximately 5, 6 years before I started pushing a lot of my free time into modeling and acting.
Okay. Because I asked that because I've been a career coach for years, and one of the things that I do, I bridge the gap for people moving from one career to another.
Hmm.
And that, that little thing about, transformation and being using that thing that you have that makes you special is something that is just I love it. I love when I see that in people. I can find the thing and then help them to get where they want to go. But that's just so that resilience and that performance under pressure, that's something that, it's really going to serve you well. So we learned that you, and one of the things, Jacob, that I notice about you is you're humble. You're real, right? In all your Instagram, your TikToks, everything I see, you're like a person that everybody really, I think, loves, and that's something else that serves you well. So
Thank you. That
stay true to that, no matter where you go in this, industry. Stay true to that because it's coming, it's shining, it's coming out.
I've done that a lot, and I've learned that's what draws people to me. I'm not only humble and real, but I'm relatable. And people are drawn to me because of that. They're like, you're just like talking to an average guy or someone. I said, I am an average guy. I'm nothing special. I'm just me who you've seen on TV before. But I mean, I still, am the exact same guy. I love people. I don't try to be this wild, crazy social media influencer who has all these camera tricks and wants to showcase like I'm a millionaire. Nah, I am who I am.
Wonderful, wonderful. So what about your personal life now? Are you on the dating scene, I have to ask?
Yes, yes, I do have a girlfriend I've been with for a while now. Um,
Okay.
the hard thing is with my social media presence and my presence in the media. Um, they're kind of cruel. They can be. And so I like to keep my personal life and my professional life separate. So I don't showcase a lot of, like my family, my friends, my dating scene, things of that nature on my social medias for the sake of just kind of keeping them protected and keeping things separate. Does you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. No, it makes sense. It makes sense. So, but thank you for sharing that. So, she's lucky, I'll just say. We have a lot of listeners, and as you can see from the comments and everything that you get, that it's a question that pops up. So,
Hmm.
thanks for answering.
And she is
Um,
probably my biggest supporter, and it's hard to find someone who supports you in these endeavors because you know a lot of what I do lately has been sex appeal driven. Hey, let me showcase all the work I've put into my physique for charity and for a good cause. But still, I hate to sound like this, but a lot of it is look at me. And so, not only was that a hard mindset for me to grasp, it's hard for a lot of people. But she is the biggest supporter. She's like, do it, do it, do it, go, 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 go. So, I'm very fortunate.
yeah, well, that's, and again, when you came across my desk and I started looking to do the research, I said, okay, he model, actor, you see that a lot. And then you can see the climb, how you've made that climb to where you are today. And with that firefighters calendar, that's something that's going to give back. And as well, it stands for a purpose. So
Absolutely.
um it sounds like you're staying true to your goals, but it's still, I can't help but notice that it's eye candy,
Yeah,
right? You see
absolutely.
it. So, you know, and again, I think that in this world we live with this social media, that's what people want. You scroll and you look and you're like, okay, quick. assessments, quick judgments. But again,
Hmm.
that might be the thing that gets you into that next role because you're authentic. You are a firefighter, you are a medic. So when that role comes out, you'll be cast, right? And I think I read that that's one of your goals, that you want to be cast in one of those roles that's true to who you actually are.
Yes, absolutely. Dream come true, of course, would be some type of superhero. I love, Hallmark
Mm-hmm.
romance in that style, but I would love to be able to portray and actually play a firefighter somewhere, somehow, because that's who I am. It would be so cool to live my true life on camera.
Yeah, well, it'll happen. It's, you put it out there into the universe, and that's one of the things. I think you're so diverse and dynamic that you could do the Hallmark, the main lead role there. You could do the firefighter. You could do the superhero,
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
Marvel. Here you come.
That's Superman. There we go.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, so Jacob, I guess when it comes to resiliency, is there is there something that you want to share with other actors out there, other models, with people who are interested to follow your path, either in acting or even in firefighting and paramedic? What is there some overall guidance that you might give them in terms of resilience?
Absolutely. I have had more people contact me when it comes to firefighting and paramedicine than I have acting and modeling. And I wasn't the greatest student. I am terrible at test taking. I am not good in school. I'm a hands-on person. I went to trade school. I excelled. I graduated with honors. But when it came to high school, I was your average student, C's, B's. And so when it comes to anything in life, not just firefighting and paramedicine, not just modeling and acting, it takes resilience, but it also takes hard work and dedication. I don't know how to say this in a good way. You can't really half-ass anything, but you just have to keep pushing and pushing. You know, your situation, your where you come from doesn't determine your outcome. This is what I say to a lot of high schoolers because where they're at, who their parents are, the family they come from, it doesn't matter any of that. The only thing that matters is what you do with your life and where you want to take it.
Love that. That positivity it's amazing because it's true. I mean, so many people who've been through hardships, who've been through things, they come out of that struggle with, a renewed energy. And I think that really can help a lot of people. Whereas those who haven't faced struggles, maybe they don't know that they can do more than they can, like
Yes.
that's one of the things I've noticed, that a lot of models and celebrities and actors, people who've gone and excelled in that area, and
Well, I will
yeah.
say greatness and success is just on the other side of fear. We all struggle with fear. We all struggle with being concerned about what people will think of us or what people will say behind our backs. And none of that matters. Who cares? That's the biggest thing people need to get over is who cares what people think? Who cares what people say? There's always going to be someone who doesn't like you, doesn't like what you do, doesn't like what you say. So that was my biggest thing to get over my largest hurdle. Because, when you grow up as a kid who's obese, being made fun of and things of that nature, you kind of get this mentality of, okay, after you get over the fact of how bad it hurts you, you get to the point where you're like, I'll show them. I'll show them.
Mm. Well, it's true. If we could all live in this world of social media and not
Mm,
read the comments and not take those to heart, we
yeah,
would be a lot better, right? Because let's face it, we're all unique in our journey, and the one thing that makes us the same is that we're all human, right? There's
absolutely.
all this today about gender, about racism, and it's just, I think back to earlier times when things were simpler, and I just wish we had that today. But your philosophy on this of, you know, uh, greatness is on the other side of fear, and don't listen to other people's opinions, right? Because what really matters is our own image of ourselves,
Yeah.
right?
You have to start
And
somewhere. Nobody's perfect without practice.
yeah, yeah. And last year I put out this book, this Emotional Strength Explained, um, because it helps people. It's a journal format, and
Oh,
it
wow.
helps you to just every day it'll prompt you, and then you can write in it. So 30 days you'll get to a place where you're stronger emotionally, and you have that knowledge. Either you've already started on your path, or you can come to terms with it. That's exactly the reason that I created this book.
Yes, wow. See, and that's helpful for someone because it creates daily steps and that creates a habit. Therefore, when you either wake up and write in your journal or sometime throughout the day, it puts that in your head. After those 30 days, you'll continue to have those wonderful thoughts and you'll continue to record and at least evaluate.
Yes, exactly, exactly. So, and that was the first step. If we go back to the beginning of this interview, you decided you wanted to be the best version of yourself. And then the heartache, the pain, the suffering is what motivated you to actually take those steps, right?
Yes,
So, again, this book is what is it helped. Anyway, I just have to showcase it because it's all kind of
absolutely.
wrapped in to the theory, right? So,
Oh, for sure.
yeah. So, all right. So, folks, listen, you can look for Jacob online. He's got Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. He's got everything out there. Again, he's open to roles. He's got his link for his publicist. If you're a director, producer listening, and you'd like to feature him, he's already got experience modeling, acting. He is a Netflix personality. And Jacob, we can't wait to hear more of you. We can't wait to see. Now, is there anything that you have up and coming that you want to share?
Um, I did a book cover that should be released this summer sometime. I am very excited. I get to go this month and speak with my high school alma mater. They invited me back as a keynote speaker to share my story and talk to the students. So I know that's nothing huge and wild for the world to see, but for me, that was a huge goal of mine. So I'm very proud I get to go speak with the students. And later this year, the Australian Firefighters calendar, once we start rolling those out and we start showcasing and promoting that, at the end of this year, they're going to see so much from that. We've got talk
Mm.
shows, radio, TV shows. I mean, it's going to get crazy at the end of this year. So if you see Australian Firefighters calendar, look for me and I'm sure you'll see me. I'll definitely be speaking about it and talking with everyone.
Great, great. Well, we'll be glad to have you back on this show again once you're, a little further down the line after you do that keynote speaking engagement. That'll be wonderful. I would love to have you on again, and we can focus on that high school age group because that's another important topic that I think a lot of people would benefit, parents and
Yes.
younger generation alike.
It's crazy for me because when I usually tell my story, I don't usually go back that far. You know, when
Mm.
people ask about, they just want to know about the firefighting or the modeling and acting when I started. But now I get to actually go farther back into my story where it was like high school, junior high, and things of that nature to relate to these kids and show them, listen, this is where I was at that stage of your life. Now look where I'm at. Things can happen, things can change. You can control your destination. You have complete control. You would have told me, ask some of your teachers, if you would have asked them what I would have done or what they expected me to do in life, they probably would have said a factory worker, farmer, something along those lines. They're all shocked too. So am I. So anything is possible.
Amazing, amazing. And it is so true. It's so true. So again, we look forward to the book cover. We look forward to the upcoming talk show radio and of course the calendar coming out.
Yeah.
And again, I'll love to have you on the show again.
Oh, I'd be honored.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, let's keep each other in mind for those speaking engagements and we can, revolutionize the world to bring more positivity and, teach people that when you're up against the odds, you can go against the grain, you can reach those limits,
Amen.
and even exceed them. So thanks so much, Jacob, for sharing your story today. Um,
Absolutely.
and we'll look forward to seeing more of you all over the place.
Yes, and if anybody reaches out to you or anybody wants to know more about my story or has any questions or comments, I would be more than happy to talk more about them and discuss. And we've got plenty of other stories and avenues we could take this story and I could share. So anytime, I would be more than willing and happy to.
Perfect. Well, looking forward to it. In the meantime, stay well, keep forward on your journey, and we'll look forward to everything that you have to come.
Absolutely. Thank you. You as well.